and welcome to another knit and chat video. My name is Emily and I am the maker behind the Wood and Burn YouTube channel. Today, typical disclaimer here at the beginning of the video, it is very warm outside, so I have my ceiling fan on, so hopefully that doesn't translate to be audible in the video. Hopefully with editing and whatnot I can make sure that it's not heard, but just as a heads up, there might be the slight buzz of the fan in the background. It is just a bit too hot to turn that off at the moment, especially considering I am currently just over 8 months pregnant, so I have an extra little human who is making me extra warm. Today I am working on the sleeve of my So Faded sweater, which I have been working on for quite some time. I consider myself to be a pretty slow garment knitter. I don't know how some people can finish a sweater in like 2 weeks. I think part of it is that pretty much all of the sweaters that I have knit before have been fingering weight sweaters. So I've knit a lot of fingering weight sweaters and only a small handful of DK weight, and I don't know if I've ever knit an actual like worsted weight sweater, so that probably contributes to why it takes me so long. But I am currently working on the second sleeve, which is very exciting. So here it is. Here's what I'm working on. I've got my first sleeve done, and I am super happily on the third color of the second sleeve, so I really only have about that much left to go, which I'm so excited about. I feel like I'm finally in the home stretch on this sweater, which is perfect timing because if I can get it done and blocked and washed and everything, I can tuck it away in my cupboard where I keep all of my sweaters and have it good to go and ready for autumn, which should be here in a couple months. To be honest, here in Tennessee where I live, it typically stays pretty warm and summery throughout September, and honestly doesn't really start properly cooling down until probably October, but we do start getting a few cooler days in September, and you'll get those crisp, slightly crisp mornings where you can just smell autumn coming. That's one of my favorite times of year, when you can smell that faint crispness in the air and you're just like, ooh, it's coming. It's gonna be up to 90-something degrees today, but fall is coming. So today's video, I don't have any sort of a specific topic of discussion. I realized that I had been doing the typical thing that I am a big culprit of doing, and massively overthinking these videos and trying to come up with some sort of a specific topic of discussion, something that I can talk about, questions, etc., etc. And I realized like the whole point of a knit and chat video is just something that you can put on in the background while you're doing chores or while you're working on knitting, and just, I don't know, a way to get to know me better. It's like sitting down with friends over a cup of tea, which I 100% would have had a cup of tea, but again, I'm very hot and I'm feeling just a little bit extra warm at the moment. I've been moving around doing some work on getting a PDF pattern taped together for a sewing project that I'm working on, and so I'm a little bit extra warm, and I realized a cup of hot tea is not the drink of choice at the moment, so I just have my handy dandy water bottle that I've not been without this entire pregnancy. So I'll have you know, trying to stay hydrated and make sure that I'm drinking enough water while pregnant has definitely been a little bit challenging. I'm typically somebody who drinks a lot of water, but when you have to go to the bathroom all the time, the last thing you want to do is keep drinking more and more water so that you stay hydrated, which then just means that you're in the bathroom constantly. But anyway. So basically these videos, I want them to just be kind of a cozy sort of a chat, and I don't want to stress too much about having a specific topic or thing to talk about unless I happen to have one. And The struggle has been that the last few weeks I've just been really feeling the final weeks of pregnancy tiredness. I have so little energy and I'm sleeping so poorly at night that during the day it's just a struggle sometimes to try and think and come up with new ideas and new plans and things. And so I realized yesterday, I was supposed to be filming a video, and I'd been racking my brain all day trying to think about it. I've been racking my brain the whole last week trying to think about something to talk about. And I was just like, wait a minute. You're doing it, Emily. You're doing it again. Stop overthinking it. It's not that big of a deal. The whole point is just to sit down and talk. It doesn't matter about what. It can be about anything. And especially I went and watched another one of Bethany's videos. Bethany is a lovely lady who does the Well-Loved Knits YouTube channel. She has a whole bunch of different videos, particularly some knit and chat videos and a knitting podcast, and she's designed some knitting patterns. And she's also currently pregnant with a little baby boy. I feel like our due dates are pretty close. They might be a few weeks apart, which is kind of exciting. And I went back and I was watching one of her videos last night and I was just like, yes, see, exactly. You don't have to have a super important, thoroughly thought out, planned discussion. You can just chit chat. So that's what we're here to do today. Which I feel like I've already been doing. I've been blathering on about nothing. But sometimes those are some of the most fun videos to have, especially, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll have it where if I have to like clean the kitchen or if I'm cooking, a lot of times I'll put on a podcast and kind of it'll have about 75% of my attention. But it's really nice to just be able to feel like you're having a chit chat with a friend while you're doing your chores or whatever, like unloading the dishwasher. Like, who wants to unload the dishwasher? I don't know, maybe somebody out there really, really loves kitchen cleaning. It is not one of my favorite chores. I don't know what my favorite chore would be. I don't hate laundry. That's not the worst thing, but it's kind of like a meh thing. I don't know. I don't think I really have a favorite chore per se. I'm always very satisfied when the chores are done and my house looks so much nicer, but I don't necessarily love doing the chores, which I think is pretty common for most people. I think there are some people out there that just absolutely love housework, and I wish I could be one of those people, but I'm just not. There are so many other things that I would rather be doing than chores, and I think that kind of is a contributor to why I don't care for chores as much. But anyway, it is sometimes quite nice to just have like a podcast or a video on in the background, especially because I'm at home alone all day, which I absolutely love, and I'm immensely grateful that I am able to do that. But sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of background noise. So hopefully that's what I can be for you today. I can be a little bit of background noise for you. Let me see here. What have we been up to recently? Honestly, not a lot. My husband and I, Mike and I, we are very much homebodies, and we don't really like going out and doing tons of stuff. Pretty much, he works all day, and I work on stuff all day, whether it's housework or creative stuff, making videos, editing videos, etc. And then when he comes home, we'll have supper, and then we just kind of relax, and he'll play some video games, and I'll watch some podcasts, do some more knitting. We just don't honestly do that much. Something exciting though that I'm very, very happy about, I got an unexpected bonus for some work that I had done. I have a couple of part-time jobs that I do. They're just work from home things, and I had gotten a little bit of a unexpected bonus from one of them, and so I was able to purchase, you can kind of see part of it right here, a standing desk, or a desktop standing desk attachment thing. I took some B-roll, so I'll pop it in here so you can kind of see, but I am just so happy to have this. It's such a funny practical thing to be so happy about, but I've been wanting one for ages because especially since I've been pregnant, I have realized that I just do so much sitting And especially because basically I found out that I was pregnant, and then I was staying home, and so suddenly, well, even before that, I just had a receptionist office job, and so I was sitting all the time, and it just felt like my body was just suffering from sitting too much. And it's something that I've wanted for quite some time, is to have some form of a standing desk, so that when I'm watching podcasts I can stand and knit for a bit, or if I'm editing videos I can stand and do it for a bit, or sit down, kind of go back and forth. And I've noticed, particularly since being pregnant, that I've had a decent amount of hip pain, especially in the last month, since baby boy has decided that now is the time to get lovely and plump, which is exactly what he's supposed to be doing. My poor hips were just not prepared. I mean, they were. I've been going to a chiropractor and everything, but at the same time, first baby and all that, my hips were not happy about it. And I realized that it seemed like my sitting all the time was exacerbating it a decent amount. But when that's kind of what I do, that's, to be honest, if you want to count it this way, it's basically my job, is making videos, editing videos, knitting, sewing, and all of these things require sitting down. And so I've just been wanting one of these standing desk things for such a long time, and so it was so lovely to get this unexpected bonus check from work and to be able to purchase it. I'll link it down below. I just bought it off of Amazon. It was like $120 or something like that. So it's not something I could ordinarily afford, but unexpected money. And it's such a practical and good for me sort of a thing. I definitely have to work up my stamina to a degree. I noticed, especially the first day that I got it and had it set up, I'd been on my feet a lot that day because I'd been out shopping, and so I really noticed that my feet and my hips were like, hold on, this is way more standing than we are used to in the last 2 years. What are you doing? So I will have to build up my stamina and work towards being able to stand for several hours at a time, but I'm just so excited about it. And it'll be lovely because once the baby's born, if you know anything about babies, sometimes they like to be jostled a bit. It sounds so funny. Jounced, bounced about a little bit if they're cantankerous or fussy or whatever. And so I can do that if I'm standing while still working on stuff, which is amazing. That has been a very, very, very exciting thing for me. I just got it a couple of days ago, so I've been using it. And like I said, I've got a long ways to go to build up some more stamina, but it's my goal. So there's that. That's one exciting thing that's happened recently. What else? Let me see. I've been doing a lot of looking at different booktube channels because I love reading and I love books. And I found a few new favorites, which has been absolutely lovely. I've been working on making some plans to do some book-related videos, which is also very exciting. I have finished a couple of longer-term knitting projects, which I'll talk about more in my next knitting podcast, but that is super exciting. I've got some blocking that I have to do, which I actually need to do at least one of them today. It just needs to get blocked, and then it's a test knit, and then I can get the basically feedback sent in to the designer, and I'm very, very excited about that one. I kind of want to immediately cast on another one. Actually, I'm going to give you a little bit of a sneak peek because I just can't resist. It's so cute. And it's right over here. And I'll talk about this in more detail in my next podcast, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But it's so cute. I just finished it yesterday or the day before? The day before, I think. And I'm just super happy about it. It's a little sweater for my baby, so super cute. The first thing I've ever knit for him, and yeah. So I need to get that blocked because, like I said, it was a test knit, and I need to get the results into the designer. I think I still have another week or two left to the test knit, but I'm the type of person that, if at all possible, I vastly prefer to have things done well ahead of time. It's kind of how my family has always done it, and it's just kind of how I always like to do it. I feel so bad if I'm like on the final day of a deadline and turning something in. It just, no. Since I finished that for the baby, I cast on, just this morning, I cast on a baby blanket for the baby. I'm going to be knitting the, what's it called? It's right here. Best Friend Butterfly Blanket by Leslie Friend. I think I can kind of show you. It's this blanket here. And I just cast it on this morning, so there's like nothing really to show. But I'm really excited about that. Leslie has also apologies if you can hear the clicking, it's just my row counter that I'm keeping track of how many rows that I have done on my sleeve. Anyway, I watch Leslie's knitting podcast. She has the A Friend to Knit With YouTube knitting podcast, and she mentioned that she was going to be coming out with this pattern, probably 2 or 3 months ago at this point. And by that point I was like 6 months pregnant. And I was just like, oh, this will be perfect, absolutely perfect. This will be the blanket that I can knit for my baby. And so I've been very eagerly waiting for the pattern to come out and be available. So I'm really excited to have started that, which I'm gonna have to get a wiggle on if I want to get it done before he's born, because technically I only have about 3 weeks left, so I need to hurry up. Now, to be fair, he will not need a knitted blanket anytime soon because, again, it's very, very, very warm. It's supposed to get up to, I believe, 99 degrees Fahrenheit today here, and it's supposed to be up to like 100 tomorrow. And of course, there's always a thing where it says it's, like right now, let me look at it. It'll always say it's like 98 degrees, but it feels like such and such. Okay, so right now it says it's 91 degrees Fahrenheit outside, but it feels like 98 degrees. And it's supposed to get up to 99 degrees. It's not even noon here yet. So we have a very high UV index. It's been quite toasty here recently. Which makes sense, it is summertime, and it is July, and July and August are typically the hottest months out of the year, I find. So, makes sense. But anyway, baby will not be needing a hand-knitted blanket anytime soon right after he's born, but I'd like to have it mostly done before he arrives. Other than that, what are some other projects? Oh, the sewing project that I'm going to be working on. Again, there will be more details and more information and stuff about this in my podcast, but I just started working on another sewing project, so I'm really excited about it. It is the Style Arc Montana midi dress. There's this wonderful commenter who left a comment on one of my earlier podcast episodes, and they mentioned that they were making the Montana midi dress, and up to that point I hadn't heard anything about it. I don't stay very up to date on the knitting or sewing pattern releases, especially since I got off of Instagram a couple of months ago. I have no idea what's going on, which I'm okay with. It's better for my budget. I'm not as tempted to just buy everything. And this is a relatively old dress pattern, I think. It's been out for a while, and I feel like I may have heard of it before, but never really paid attention to it. And then this commenter mentioned that they were making like their 3rd version of it, and I was like, ooh, I want to look this up. What is this dress pattern? And so I looked it up, and it's just this really beautiful, simple, kind of oversized fit dress pattern. I'll see if I can pop a picture in here. I absolutely love it because it has an empire waistline, which is great because I'm pregnant, quite pregnant. Nothing fits anymore. And it has a nice full gathered skirt, which is something that I have discovered being pregnant, is that I kind of hate anything super duper fitted. As over the bump area, it just makes me feel kind of weird and self-conscious. I don't like it. I like much more loose fitting things. And add into that, I have had quite bad acid reflux this entire pregnancy. It has been probably the most difficult part of being pregnant has been the acid reflux or heartburn and the hip pain. Those two things have been the worst part about it. Overall, I've had an incredibly positive pregnancy experience, and I have absolutely loved being pregnant. It feels like such a privilege. I know there's so many people out there that have such a hard time being able to get pregnant and stay pregnant, which is heartbreaking to me. It is so sad. Yeah. And so I feel like I have been so incredibly lucky that everything has gone as smoothly as it has, and it has been an overall, by and large, very smooth pregnancy. I wouldn't say it's been easy, but it has not been complicated, which I am so grateful for. But acid reflux has been the bane of my existence the last several months. And basically anything kind of tight and snug in the certain parts of my body, particularly right underneath of my bust, makes my acid reflux so bad, and it's so uncomfortable. I just, nope. So the Montana midi dress is just this very like loose, oversized, beautiful looking dress, and I just kind of fell in love with it. And I've been waiting and just kind of not, I didn't get around to purchasing the pattern. Well then, Style Art is this weekend having a pattern sale with, I think it's 20 to 25% off all of their sewing patterns. I can't remember exactly how much it is. And I was just like, aha, my brain knew to wait to buy the pattern. So I bought it yesterday? Yeah, I think I bought it yesterday when I got their email. I was like, okay, this is a sign that I've been waiting for, that it's time to buy this pattern. And I got it all printed out, and I cut out the PDF pieces and got them all taped together and everything, and I'm so excited. I have this really pretty, fun, like patchworky type fabric that I'm going to make it out of. I'm really excited to see how it's going to turn out. I'm going to be pattern hacking it, and I think I'm going to make a video about it. But I'm going to be pattern hacking it to have buttons on the front, kind of like this dress, buttons on the front, to make it breastfeeding friendly, because anything that I make now when it comes to sewing, I'm really trying to make sure that it's breastfeeding friendly, because I don't want to have something that I can only wear for like, well, at this point, like 3 weeks, and then I'm planning to breastfeed as long as I possibly can, and so I don't want to make something that I'm not going to be able to wear for the next year plus, basically. So anything that I make, I'm trying to be very conscious about making it breastfeeding friendly and hacking it, putting some sort of buttons or something down the front to make it so that I can wear it for longer, because it would make me so sad to make something really beautiful, lovely, handmade, and not be able to wear it. So that's my game plan. I got some little white buttons to go down the front, because I'm going to go outside of my typical thing, which is using snaps. And I'm going to actually do some buttons. Because I don't know, I feel in the mood that that dress will look best with some buttons. But you never know, I might change my mind and last minute switch to snaps, because I just love snaps so much. They're so easy to do, and you don't have to worry about buttonholes, and they're easy to snap and unsnap and all of that. So yeah, we'll see. In my head, I have it envisioned as buttons, but we'll see what ends up happening when it comes down to it. So that's something that I've been working on. Other than that, let's see, is there any other projects? I would love to do some more sock knitting. I'm in the process of, I'm almost done knitting the second one of my Tidal Wave socks, which is another tuss knit that I'm doing. And I'm just about done with the second one, which I'm very happy about. So once that's done, I want to cast on a sock pattern, one of the sock patterns by Olivia of This Handmade Life. I have so many of her sock patterns in my Ravelry library. I actually bought 3 more of them this morning. she's having a pattern sale that I just happened to see, because again, I'm not on Instagram, so I miss a lot of these things, but I just happened to see it on, I think Etsy, that she was having a sale, and I was like, oh no. Oh no. So I immediately went over to Ravelry and bought 3 more patterns just because I can't resist. I love her pattern designs, and I've been wanting to knit one up for ages. I think I probably have 10 plus of her patterns in my stash, and I think I've only ever knit one of them, and it wasn't even for me because it ended up too small, so I gave it to my mom. So I really need to knit some of her patterns because I have so many of them. The main thing that's kind of been holding me back is the fact that all of her, or most all of her sock knitting patterns are just one size, so she only has like a 64 stitch size, and I typically do a 56 stitch sock size, and I know that 64 stitches would just be way too big for me. So the thing is, I just need to experiment and go down a needle size, and I think that if I go down to a US size 0 instead of the US size 1 that I typically do, I think I'd be okay. Because I have knit a 64 stitch sock previously by another pattern designer, and I did it on a US size 0, and it worked fine. So I think that that's what I need to do, but it's one of those things that whenever there's something that's like slightly outside of what I'm used to doing, I am like the world's best person at putting it off. And it's so annoying because sometimes it'll be like the simplest thing, like literally just switching the needle size. Like, it's not complicated, but it's just not what I'm used to, and so my brain goes, ooh, that's hard. And I have to sit there and just be like, no, it's not. It's literally just changing the needle size. It's not that complicated. So that's what I would love to do. Once I get this other test knit done, I really, really, really want to knit one of Olivia's patterns just because they are so beautiful. And again, I've had them in some of them I've had in my library for years, and I just have not knit them yet. So I would love to do that. I need to cast on a pair of socks for my husband. I would love to make him another pair of shorty socks. I've made him, I think, 4 pairs of socks altogether, and I would love to just make him a bunch more just basic, classic shorty socks, ones that he can wear to work and whatnot, because he already wears the socks that I have hand knit him to work, so I would love to make him some more, because his ready to wear socks that we have for him, he just keeps wearing holes in them so quickly, and they're socks that he's had for like, oh, I don't know, probably like 5+ years, so it makes sense that they're all wearing out, but it's just getting to the point where they're all wearing out, and he only has like 2 or 3 pairs of like the thinner ready to wear socks left, and I imagine that those are going to develop holes very soon. So I need to get a wiggle on and knit him a few more just basic simple pairs of socks. And I think that I'll do some sort of a ribbed sock, because I've done that before and it works really well. And then I will probably do just some plain vanilla socks. Especially because both of us really like wearing shorty socks, and it's super convenient because his foot size and my foot size are basically identical. And so I can just do the exact same sock recipe that I use for myself for him, which is lovely. It makes it so much easier. I don't know that I would really want to knit him socks as much if I had to do a different stitch count or a different needle size or something like that. Yeah, it would have probably overwhelmed me to try and get that figured out. Yeah, so since we're both the same size, it makes it super, super easy because I can just knit exactly as I would if it was for me. And then it's just kind of, like I said, the same old, same old. My brain doesn't have to try and like figure out how to do something new. But yeah, so I would love to do that. I had started knitting him a toe-up sock, and it just immediately has languished. So I think that I just need to go back to the cuff down, knit him a few cuff down socks, and then think about doing some toe-up ones, because again, my brain, something new, something different, and I just don't want to do it. I need to look and see if I can find, I think I found a toe-up sock knitting pattern, and I need to do one for me first, because I feel like I'm better at knitting or making stuff for me with the risk of it failing. So if it's a new thing and it's likely to flop, I'm better about doing it if it's for me, because then I feel like I'm not disappointing anybody. And I think that that's part of the issue, is that if it's a new thing, I'm really worried, and I'm making it for somebody else, I'm really worried that it's going to flop, and then they'll be disappointed because I'll have been working on this thing for them, and then it doesn't work out. So I need to do some sort of a toe-up sock for me first, and then do it for him. But for now, I need to just probably frog the little bit of that sock that I've done and just start over and do a regular cuff down shorty sock. And again, it's great because he really likes shorty socks, and so they're really fast and easy, and I can whip them out in a week or so if I actually consistently work on them and don't get distracted by other things. Which there's no guarantee in this knitter's ballpark, whatever you want to call it. I get distracted by all sorts of other projects, hence why this sweater is taking so long. Because there's so many things that I want to knit and so little time in which to knit it all. But anyway, what else? What else do I want to work on? Ooh, I want to make the orchard's dress sewing pattern. I don't remember the designer's name. It's V something. This is a sewing pattern that I think has come out kind of recently, and I saw Andrea Mowry of the I'll Knit If I Want To knitting podcast and the Drea Renee Knits. She designs some of the most beautiful patterns, but in one of her recent podcast episodes, she was wearing her orchards dress, and I just fell in love with it, and I want it so bad. And then I was watching Bethany of Well Loved Knits yesterday, and she had one that she had made, and I was just like, So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this Style Art Montana midi dress, and then I think I'm going to go ahead and splurge and buy the Orchard's dress sewing pattern and make that, because I have this like navy blue gingham fabric and I think it would look so cute. And I love that the dress, the way that it's designed, it's got like the gathers around the neck and over the bust, and it's got buttons down the front. It's sleeveless, which would be amazing. I have like no sleeveless dresses right now that fit me, and I'm typically I love sleeveless dresses. That's one of the main dress styles that I will make for myself to wear, because they're phenomenal to wear in the summertime. And in the wintertime, they're really lovely because you just pop a cardigan over it and it's amazing. I absolutely love it. But all of my dresses that I made pre-pregnancy do not fit anymore whatsoever. My bust has increased, my bump has gotten bumpy. And they don't fit, or they sort of fit, but the problem is again with the acid reflux, they're just tight in the wrong spot, and I just cannot stand them. I cannot wear them. But I've seen that Orchard's dress sewing pattern, and I was trying to figure out why I really liked it so much, because I was debating and going back and forth between whether or not I wanted to make the Orchard's dress pattern, or I believe it's the Lisa dress pattern by Tizuti. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it at all. It's an Australian company. Fabric. It's another empire waisted button front dress, and I really, really liked both of these. And I realized the reason that I'm so much more so drawn to the Orchard's dress is because of those gathers. It's all gathers over the bust. And I've realized in the last couple of years that I love the way that just gathers over the bust feel. And also look. I love it so much. That's why I love the Jennifer Lauren handmade Felicity dress so much. And it's also why I love the Deer and Doe cardamom dress. I love both of those. And I came to the realization like yesterday. I was like, that's why you like the Orchard's dress so much, is because it's got those gathers over the bust and it just looks so comfortable, and it's sleeveless and it looks amazing. And I really want to make it. So I think that'll be coming down the pipeline quite soon. And it's really convenient because it already has the button front, so I wouldn't have to do any sort of pattern hacking. I might have to do a full bust adjustment just because I have a very full bust. But Other than that, that's a pretty standard pattern adjustment for me. It's not really a pattern hack. I have a feeling that's going to be happening pretty soon. Ooh, the other dress that I really want to sew. I feel like this has kind of become, I'm knitting, but I'm talking all about sewing. The other dress I really, really want to sew is another dress that I think it became popular last year, but again, I don't pay attention to trends or popular things. I'm not on TikTok, and I just ignore most of those things. But I was watching Allison of, I think she just has like the knitting podcast or something on YouTube, and she was talking about the nap dress. And I've mentioned this in one of my previous podcast episodes, and it's just basically this very comfy looking sheared elastic top dress. It looks so comfortable to me right now, and I really, really, really want to make one. Again, I'm kind of fighting against my brain here because there's no specific pattern to follow. I've found a couple of really good tutorials, but there will be a decent amount of just kind of making it up as I go, which is always a bit nerve-wracking for me. Even though I've been sewing for over 10 years. I had that realization. I was like, I'm getting close to have been making my own clothes for like 15 years, which is bonkers to me. I can't believe it's been that long. I started trying to figure out sewing and making my own clothes when I was about 15. So, and I'm getting close to 30, so it's been almost 15 years, which is crazy. It's been over 10 years. So I shouldn't be nervous about doing these sorts of like pattern hacking, whatever, making up my own patterns sort of a thing. But again, my brain does not like new things. I like the same old, which is why I can reread the same book 15 times and listen to the same song 100 times and watch the same movie 15 times. Which is really nice. It's convenient because then I can find out what I like and I don't have to mess with anything else. But I really want to make one of these nap dresses. I just think it would be so comfortable, especially like as I'm in the final stages of my pregnancy, but even afterwards, when your body is just kind of doesn't know what it wants to do and it's trying to adjust to suddenly not having a baby in there. I think that the nap dresses would be just so comfortable. And the nice thing is that because they're just all stretchy, is that it's automatically really breastfeeding friendly. So that would be super nice. But at some point I want to tackle that. So again, probably after the Montana dress and probably after I make the Orchards dress. So maybe I'll get one done before the baby's born, but I'm not going to push myself too hard or count on it too much just because, again, we're down to the last, like, few weeks. Anyway, I think we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping things up here. I have no idea how long I've been talking. I have a feeling that this is a pretty lengthy video, and I would love to get it edited and uploaded tonight, or by tonight. So, yeah. I would love to know what you've been working on, what you're excited about working on, if there's any sort of sewing patterns or projects that you are really, really excited about working on. Knitting, like what's some sweaters that you've been loving? Because I am just so excited to get this sweater done and to cast on more sweaters. I have so many sweaters in my Ravelry pattern library, and I just cannot wait to be able to cast on some of them. I have a feeling I'm going to have a little bit of a cast-on party once I get this one done. And I'm going to do some DK weight so that hopefully they won't take quite so long. We'll see though. Again, like I said, I'm not a very speedy garment knitter. I can knit socks pretty quickly. Sweaters or shawls or things, those take a little bit longer. And I also would really love to be able to work on some hand knit toys for my little baby. But again, like there's no massive rush because they don't really play with toys for the first few months, so there's no like massive deadline for it. But anyway, I will go off and start rambling again. But I need to go ahead and end things here. I've made a decent dent. I think I've knit probably 2-3 inches on my sleeve, so yay! I appreciate you keeping me company for this. Yeah, I'm probably about halfway done with that last little section. Oh, I'm so excited. But yeah, so thank you so much for hanging out and listening to me chat today. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will be back very soon for the next one. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.